Saturday, August 4th, 1:30 p.m. Mountain Time, 2018. Guys, this next video comes out of Coolidge, Arizona through KTAR News. It's dated August 3rd. The event occurred on August 1st, which would have been last Wednesday. Arizona boy perishes after walking to the park on a hot day. Coolidge, Arizona. Coolidge is about 30 minutes south and southeast of Phoenix. The Casa Grande Dispatch reported Coolidge police found burns on the teen's forearms, legs, and left shoulder. Officials believe the burns were caused by prolonged exposure to the hot asphalt. The high for the day in the area was 105 degrees. And again, this was Wednesday, August 1st, and our UV reading that day, which we are 30 minutes north of Coolidge, the UV reading for that day was 103, I think, was our high temperature, and our UV was around 11 or 12, so it wasn't that far out of parameters for the desert. So nothing really unusual with regard to the temperature or the UV on that day. They were walking, and the brother noticed that the teen was no longer next to him. He turned around, saw him on the ground, went back to help him. A neighbor saw what was going on, came over to assist. They got him off of the asphalt over underneath a shade tree. EMS arrived quickly. They found the boy's body temperature was 109 degrees when they got there. Immediately took him to the hospital, got his temperature lowered just a little over a degree, down to 107.9, and the young man perished. Very sad story. Doctors believed that maybe the thyroid medications that he was taking could have contributed to this situation. So, I don't know. Common logic tells me that this young man had probably walked to the park before with his brother on days quite possibly even hotter than this. So I doubt very seriously that he felt that he was in any type of danger. I don't know what happened, but something caused this young man's body temperature to get up to 109 degrees very quickly. So, sad story. I'd like to say I'm very sorry to the family. I know that it's just a mind-blowing story. It really is. 105 for this time of year in the desert really is kind of a mild day for the middle of summer. It could easily be up in the 110s, you know. Even at times it's been as high as 120 this time of year, which you wouldn't want to go outside when it's that hot. But 105 around August 1st really isn't that bad. So I don't know what's going on here. We've been monitoring the UV and the temperatures around here. I always talk about carrying portable shade because the sunlight is just different, and it has been for a couple of years. And I think this is a side effect of solar minimum. I really do. I always emphasize in the UV readings to carry portable shade. And I mean that sincerely. You know, if you're outside between the hours of 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. especially, and it's a bright sunny day with no clouds, carry an umbrella. In fact, that's what umbrellas were originally invented for, was portable shade, not rain. But we cannot associate an umbrella with anything other than rain. But they are actually, or were actually invented for the deflection of sunlight. So get back to using it now, guys, at least until we get through this solar minimum. You can see some high temperatures today over in Portugal, Spain. Portugal got up to 110, I think 111 in places. Spain was well over 100 in multiple locations. The high temperatures extended up into the Netherlands. Northern Europe, even London saw 79, I think 80 in places. So warmer temperatures on the across the Atlantic. We're seeing kind of semi-mild temperatures out here in the desert for at least this time of year. That's what makes this story so unusual. And again, I'd like to say I'm very, very sorry to the family. But we've been seeing things with regard to vegetation and plants and things out here that tell us that the sunlight is just definitely different. This is a bush that's partially in the sunlight, and you can definitely tell which part's in the shade and which part gets evening sunlight. And the part that gets evening sunlight was just absolutely fried to a crisp. And it started once we entered solar minimum. Here at the website, this tab you see here, this first orange oval that says SFU69. That number changes about every other day. If you click on that, it'll take you to a 20-year graph. This is a graph of the last 2 solar maximums and the last solar minimum, and we're currently entering here in 2018, approaching 2019, the solar minimum. And you can see the solar maximum in 2002 reached 240. That's the solar flux unit, the frequency of the sun, solar output. Right now it's at 69. You can see the big difference. In 2007, we started entering solar minimum, actually 2006 really, but we went into solar minimum in 2007, stayed there through 08, 09, and began to exit in 2010. We're just now entering solar minimum, and it's 2018. So we've got a couple of years at least left of solar minimum. And we're seeing, extreme dehydration events. And I think this is a side effect of solar minimum. I really and truly do. Some more pictures that were sent in from people. These come from all over Pennsylvania, the UK. This picture here this is from my backyard. You can see a tree I've got partially covered by the patio, and I left these branches out in the direct sunlight. And you can see what I learned. It burnt some of these, not all of them, to an absolute crisp. Unbelievable. And it almost looks like someone took a lighter to those leaves, and nobody did. They weren't touched, and this tree was watered every day like it's been for years. So don't know, well, I do know it's the way the atmosphere is processing the UV light. That's my opinion. The solar minimum. We need balance, when it gets real low, when the sun basically goes on vacation, so to speak, then, I don't remember it happening during the last solar minimum. This time it seems a little more intense. So I think once we come out of solar minimum, though, we'll see a positive change. As we went into solar minimum, I put up this picture that was legitimate, and I knew it was legitimate, and I got accused of this being some sort of a fake. If you just look around, you don't have any reason to fake things. This was created, this is an outdoor patio furniture. The reflection off of a mirrored window, the reflection of sunlight each morning, and you can see each morning the different path, the slightly different path that the sun took. Took a week, and it burnt this cushion to a crisp. And it was from intense sunlight reflecting off of basically a mirrored window. That's over here to the right to the left of this chair. The same thing happened to this vehicle here in San Francisco, California about a month ago. This guy had some reflective mirrors in the back of his SUV. The sunlight coming in, the intense sunlight, reflected the sunlight up to the roof, inside of the roof of his SUV, and you can see what happened to it. Burned it. It melted it. So this is true, and it can and does happen, especially during solar minimums. So once we get through solar minimum, guys, in my own personal opinion, I think things will get back to what we're used to. But this is a deep solar minimum, and there's a lot of things going on. You can see it's playing a role in the weather patterns, in the UV patterns. We're seeing 8 and 9 total UV readings coming from Amsterdam up in Northern Europe. Last year we got readings from there all summer long, and the readings are much different this year. And last year it was good to know that the ozone was working properly above, the 50-degree latitude, as it should. The ozone's supposed to be thicker up here, and that would give us lower UV indexes. And last year from Northern Europe and Amsterdam, the readings that Ray would send us were always in the 2, 3, sometimes 1 range. Very, very low and pleasant. This year, the grass is burning, the UV is very high, and that tells us that there's probably an issue with the ozone. And to me, I'm going to say it's a side effect of the solar minimum. Obviously, our number one concern is take care of ourselves and each other, and then we have to look out for crops. That's the big thing. If we start to see this happening to, you know, thousands of acres of crops, then there goes a big link in the food chain. So we can't have that. So we need to get through this solar minimum, but we got to be smart, you know, take care of yourself and look out for each other. And when I do these UV videos and I suggest carrying portable shade and using non-toxic sunblock, I sincerely mean it. All right, guys, that's all I got for today. I'll post the links below in the description box. Thanks for watching. Have a super day. Be safe out there.